Dipple.
Come on, won't you say it loud? Ayo, we gon' turn this out. Tom Clark's main event. Dropkick now and powerbomb. Ayo, bro, let's bring this on. Hey, hey, what is up? Oh, Captain, my captain, show the stuff. Power slammer, suplex 2. Hot garbage is just for you. Big breaker, cut a cold red. Figure 4, hot times ahead. Since 2014, it's on. It's a 10 count, but stand up strong. Hey kid, no DQ, strong style. Chop, this is how it goes. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event. Tom Clark's main event.
Hey, what's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. Tom Clark here with you on a Friday. This is Tom Clark's main event, episode number 339. We are fast approaching episode 350. Stay tuned for that one. That's coming up in, I'm not good at math. I'm just kidding. That's coming up in 11 weeks. We hit episode 350. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be fun, right? This here little podcast has been on the air since 2014. That's right, kids. We are celebrating 10 years as a podcast this year. And we thank everybody for tuning in live here today. If you will, please smash the like button for me and share this on your respective Facebook pages and all of your social media accounts. How am I looking today? Am I good? How's my hair? I know I look like the ghost of Christmas past. I get it. Or Christmas future, I suppose, because of the black. But I'm highly white. Oh, man, I'm a white guy. Let me just tell you right now. I'm still working on the lighting. One of these days, kids, buy a cracky. We'll get it figured out. Again, smash the like button here, kids, if you will, for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. And again, thanks for watching live. If you are not watching the program live, boy, are you missing out, because we have all sorts of fun here on the Facebook, mostly every Friday at 4 p.m. We were going live on Saturdays, and I realized no one's here. People have lives to lead. I'll get it. Lives to lead. So they just want to imagine that. People want to enjoy their weekend. What's wrong with people? Wouldn't they just rather be here hanging out with me? Anyway, thanks much for hanging out, kids. I'm in a pretty good mood. The week's been okay. How's the weekend, or how's the week been for you kids out there? Is it good? Is it great? Is it bad? You tell me. Let me change my background here. I prefer this background, if I'm being honest. The other background was so 2023. Am I right? So yeah, my week's been pretty good. I don't have a lot of complaints. Today is my mom's birthday, so please wish Mama Clark some birthday love today. She's actually not a Clark. She's a Sanders. She hasn't been a Clark in quite some time. However, she's still the mama of yours truly, and today she is a little bit years old. We're not going to talk about it. I don't know if she wants me to reveal it. She's all right with it. My mom is so not plugged in digitally, by the way. She's not around. No technology to speak of. She has a phone. It's a flip. Believe that. It's a flip. Okay? With big buttons on it. Right? That's what she's got, man. I'm just here to tell you, it's fine. It's okay. More power to her if that's what makes her happy. But that's what she has. That's the most. They actually got like a flat screen HD TV like last year, whenever it was. And they only got it because someone gave it to them. Because, it's I've offered in the past, Christmas comes around and things like that. And they just do not care about technology. They're very much off the grid. I mean, they're one step away from living in the woods and, sucking sap out of a tree for sustenance. I'm just saying, no desire for technology whatsoever. But that's all right. They can do what they want to do. Everybody's free to do what they want to do, at least for right now. Let's say some hellos here, kids, before we get cracking here today. Alma's first to the table. Good to see you, my friend. Guten Tag, Sandy in Germany. Sandy says it's a great start time for him. Well, there you go. Jeff, referring to me as "Oh Captain." Well, it's "El Captain, my Captain." I'll accept. "Oh Captain, my Captain." I greatly appreciate. Faye, come on my show next week. Can you come on next week, Faye? Let me know, will you? I'll have you on the show. Good to see you. Sugar Shane, what's going on? Jeffrey's calling. Am I Casper? Is it that bad? Is it really that bad? You're going to give me a complex, Jeff. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, See, there's the problem with that. That one's a little better. That one's pretty intense, right? Ooh, yeah, it's rough. Casper the Friendly Ghost. How do you know I'm friendly? I could be all sorts of unfriendly. Casper the Unfriendly Ghost. Let's see that cartoon. That bit of animation. Yeah, I'm digitizing a little bit. Bear with me here, kids. We'll get it eventually. Never you fear. We will get it figured out. Eric Jackson in the house. Ray All Day is here. What's up, my friend? Faye's on board next week. See that? Frey's got a friend in me. All right, kids, we got loads to get to here today. Before I go any further, do me a favor, smash that like button. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or whatever the kids do these days. Just don't be negative. I don't like negativity. You ever watch any other podcasts here on the Facebook? You don't have to say which ones you watch if you watch. It's none of my business, quite frankly. I may have watched a podcast or two recently. I'm not here to bash people. It's not very professional. But yeah. Let's just put it this way. I'm not the best podcaster you've ever seen, probably. I guarantee I'm not the worst. I'm feeling a certain kind of way today, but I will keep it professional. Let's get out the gate with the first story that I'd like to talk about this week. And again, kids, please smash the like button. If you're just showing up, please smash it for me good and hard as you can, and then share this on your Facebook page and your respective social media channels. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to continue to ask you to do that, and it's going to get real old real fast. So do your part, please, and thank you. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Friday. You could have been hanging out anywhere in the world, but you're hanging out with me, and I appreciate that. The first news I got for you out the gate, we all saw it this past Monday night. Actually, that was Money in the Bank. The announcement, John Cena returning and basically saying that 2025 was going to be his last year as a wrestler. He has gone on to say that he's going to work, I think it's around 30 to 40 dates next year, and that he is flat out saying this is not going to be a situation in which he retires and then 3 years later he comes back to work a match. Done is done. However, we heard the same thing from Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and any number of other people. I will say the same thing for John as I said for those guys. John has earned his retirement. John is a movie star. John is Peacemaker. By the way, even if you're not a comic book guy, if you've never checked out Peacemaker, I highly advise it. It is well worth your time. It's a very entertaining show, and I suggest that you check it out. My history covering John Cena as a pro wrestling writer goes back a long time. Goes back to 2010. And let me tell you, I've told this story countless times here on the pod. I'll tell it again. You guys got nowhere to be. You're hanging out with me, right? I'm going to tell it. So for a long time, every single week, I wrote about the John and Randy show. Right? Randy was SmackDown, John was Raw, right? Vice versa, any given time. But every week it was John and Randy, or John versus Randy, or John hates Randy, or John's friends with Randy. And every single week it was Randy Orton and John Cena. And I covered John, and I covered John for a good long time. And I'm gonna be honest with you, anybody that goes back and finds my writing from 2010, I was one of those many writers and one of those many fans who says John Cena only does certain things, blah, blah, blah. And then the more I covered this guy and the more I watched footage from OVW and saw other things and saw the way he moved in the ring, it occurred to me, there's a possibility I could not be like every other writer I've ever read and take a different viewpoint. So my viewpoint became, for John Cena, John does what the company wants. The John Cena that you see in the ring with his 5 moves of doom and all that crap, that is the John Cena that company wants and that the fans expect. And, if you're expecting, a mega level, a mega level, that's fine. Yeah, that's right. Kenny Omega level John Cena, that's not the John Cena you're going to get. That's not the guy that company wanted, and that's not the guy that fans expect. Go back and watch his matches with Shawn and Kurt and any other of what I would consider to be some of the top guys in the ring, not just on the mic, but in the ring in that company, and watch John Cena shine. Punk's one of them. And, it's this idea of, well, Tom, it's because the guy's working. You're right. I'm not going to argue that. But you also have to be able to carry your side and carry your weight. Okay? And John, more often than not, always carried his weight. Okay. We've got a weird comment, looks like a bot. I don't know who you are, but I'm kicking you because we're not doing that. And your comment has been deleted. Do I have that button? Please don't comment again or I'll kick you. Look, we're going to keep this show pro wrestling and anything else that the host feels like talking about. And that's me. I'm the host, right? So if I want to talk about something that's cool, if I throw it to you, good people out there, and ask you to talk about something and you would like to, that's perfectly fine as well. But we usually do not talk about religion and or politics. The two don't mix, despite what a certain political party would have you believe. They do not mix. Uh-oh. I said it. I'm not backing down. So, pardon me while I struggle with this little light. If I put this thing in your face, you'd all cry about it. You know why? Because it's fierce. That better? I'm a little digitized right there. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, I covered John for a good long time. Nothing but respect for John Cena. The John Cena that you see at any given time is the John Cena that works. It's the John Cena that's made money. John Cena put that company on his back and did everything he was asked to do, and John Cena always delivered. You may not like the John Cena that you got, and you may have complained all the time that it wasn't the guy that you wanted, and John wasn't this, and he wasn't that, or what have you. But at the end of the day, John Cena is John Cena, and he's not going to change for anybody. This idea that John Cena is going to turn heel, I wrote about that for a good long time. Boy, that's bad, isn't it? Let's just turn that sucker off, my God in heaven. This idea that John Cena is going to turn heel and, be the most hated heel in the company. I wrote that story as well. I wrote a bunch of stories about John back in the day, about things they could and couldn't do with his character. It is what it is. Boy, that's a little bright as well. Maybe not quite as bad. It's still, it's very frustrating. But anyway, you haven't seen the last of John Cena. You'll see him again. As we know, 2025 will be his last time around the bend. And he says he's not coming back. If anybody's earned his retirement, it's definitely him. No new buttons, Sandy, but that hot garbage button's just waiting on somebody to act up. So don't be that guy. I'm just kidding. I know you won't. Cena versus R-Truth. I mean, Truth is awesome. Truth has got a job for life. Truth will be there till the end. Truth will be there as long as Truth wants to be there. I love that guy very much. Jeff says Cena is a very busy man and has a career in movies, 100%. Ray says, happy for John. I know you're not happy, but I can see him winning the belt. I disagree. He has said on the record in the past he has no desire to break Flair's record. I am taking him in his word. Flair has said he's okay with John doing it. John has expressed in the past he has no desire to break Flair's record. Despite what you may think about Flair in this day and age, and there's a lot of things you could think about Flair in this day and age, trust me, someone breaking his record maybe is not the best idea. Some records should maybe never be broken, and in my opinion, that's one of them. So there you go. Again, kids, smash the like button if you haven't, and please share the show on your channels. It would have been much appreciated. Let's talk a little bit about Money in the Bank as we're moving on here today, kids. What did you like about the event? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? What was it that made you all happy and warm and fuzzy inside? What was it that you didn't care for? I'd like to hear from you right now. I'm curious to see what you guys thought about it, and especially the outcome coming out of that. In case you guys don't know, the card was not massive. Money in the Bank this year. Drew McIntyre defeated Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Jey Uso, and LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank match in the ladder match there to win the briefcase. Calm down. It's Friday. I'll get it. Sami Zayn did retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Braun Breaker. Damian Priest retained the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against Rollins and McIntyre. Well, all right. So the match was conducted on the stipulation that had Rollins won, Priest would have to leave. Judgment Day, and if the Priest won, Rollins could never challenge for the title again for as long as Priest is champion. And also, of course, McIntyre cashed in, and we know what happened from there. Tiffany Stratton, of course, defeated Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria, Naomi, and Zoe Stark to become the ladies' Money in the Bank women's champion there. Man, it is. I'll get it. Take a breath. And of course, the Bloodline defeated Cody, KO, and RO in a 6-man tag team championship match. What did you guys think of this event? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Sugar Shane says Braun Breaker losing the same as I didn't like. It's okay that you didn't like it. I personally think it was awesome that Braun didn't win. I think there is such a thing as rocket strapping. We've heard those words used for years as pro wrestling fans. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but at the same time, having said those words, rocket strapping, I also think there's something to be said for long-term storytelling. We saw some of that play out in AEW recently, and long-term storytelling is where it's at, right? So if everybody can be very, very, very patient with the Bloodline stuff, and fans were beyond patient with that angle, folks can be patient with the Braun Breaker stuff as well. So I think it's just a matter of time, and baby steps maybe would make sense. Jeff says at the press conference, he said he would win the Royal Rumble he could win the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber to compete for the world title at WrestleMania. You're talking about Rollins, yeah? Sandy says, I wanted Chelsea to win, but happy Tiffany won Money in the Bank. There you go. Ray says, Punk coming off like a tweener again. WWE is really weird. I have no idea who to root for. Yeah, wasn't that odd? Like when he attacked Drew, you could hear the crowd. They weren't entirely happy with that. Yeah, that was, it's odd. But the other company does it all the time. Other companies do it all the time. New Japan does it. It's just that, anyone who's familiar with New Japan's stuff knows that New Japan does not, hinge all of their storytelling based on promos and vignettes backstage. 99% of their booking, the storytelling is told in the ring. So it's just a different world. But they do it too. They'll have heel versus heel and face versus face whenever it's needed. Key says, waste of a men's cash in, but the women's match delivered and fine with Stratton winning was okay with the other results. Interesting. I've heard your sentiment repeated among other folks as well. Oh, John said that at the press conference. All right, my apologies, Jeff. Yeah. Again, not to get too hung up on John, but John's the man. John's the man. And you could debate who's the most successful wrestler turned actor, if it's him, The Rock, or Batista. And if you're talking about amount of tickets sold and amount of eyes on the product, I would almost say it might be Batista. Maybe I'm wrong. If you're going just based solely on metrics, maybe it is Dave Batista. I don't know. Ray said New Japan is awesome for the money. Agreed. Sandy says the men's Money in the Bank was wasted. Wasted. Yeah. I mean, again, I saw the thing like, LA, meanwhile, LA Knight's sitting there with nothing. LA Knight is a very, very interesting case study in that company of a top guy who was not a top guy. That makes sense? Of a guy that at any given time, if they wanted to pull the trigger on him, he could carry it. He could carry the ball. But the unwillingness to hand him the ball is, I can't say shocking. It's not really even surprising. It's fascinating. I use that word when it's low-key criticism, but I don't mean it to be. It's fascinating that they won't give him the opportunity to take it and run with it. It's interesting. It's interesting and it's fascinating. Again, not to be low-key critical of anybody specifically, but yeah, I find it beyond interesting that there's a guy right there. Suppose it looks like he's ready to go to me, but yeah, Robbie saying, "Hey, got my name wrong, Robbie." Unless you're not talking to me, Rob. Is that what's going on? Is there a Tim here? Paging Tim Clark. Tim Clark, you're wanted on the podcast. Sandy says LA Knight should win the U.S. title at SummerSlam, and he may. Just a Damian Priest. Thanks, Rob. Damian Priest told Seth Rollins that he rescinded the stipulation on Raw because he wants another one-on-one match with Seth Rollins. Well, there you go. Jeff is keeping us up to date. More, Jeff was like the third co-host last week, man. Jeffrey Peter brought the heat last week. JP just got himself, and Jeffrey Peter, I'll tell you something. JP, don't let me forget that. Sugar Shane says LA Knight is the Dak Prescott of the WWE. That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Owen Cup. While we're here, we're switching gears here from one company to the next. You guys hold on tight. And first of all, I want to know how many of you kept up with the Owen Cup during AEW. How many of you were okay with it? How many of you, what was your favorite match? What was it that worked for you? Maybe what didn't? Did the right guy win the tournament? I have to say that, Martha Hart looked great on TV, which sounds creepier than I mean it to. And I don't mean it to sound like that. It's nice to see that she looks happy and that she's doing well. We don't need to go into it too much, but for anyone who was a pro wrestling fan during the time of Owen's death, it was the most shocking thing. And thank God, in my part of the country, the cameras cut away before anything was shown. But it was the most shocking thing, of course, that I had ever witnessed or been fairly connected to watching a pro wrestling show. The fact that they continued the show is just beyond me. For all these years, I cannot fathom why that thing was allowed to continue. Should have pulled the plug right then. And I just don't understand that. I'll never understand it. I just don't get it. But can't change the past. As far as I know, there's no time traveling involved here. Let's see here now. Boy, Ray says happy for Daniel. Like him. Danielson, yeah. And happy Swerve is still the champ. He should pin him. He may. Sugar Shane says Mariah May was awesome at winning the cup and turning on Tony Storm. We're going to get to that in a second. JP says I kept up with the Owens Cup and I predicted Mariah May would win and turn on Tony Storm. There you go. What's up, E in the house? Good to see you, my friend. Everybody, if you've not smashed the like button, please do so. We got 5 minutes to the bottom of the hour, and we're going to show you a really quick ad. And the first segment will be done. 2 segs here on the show. 30-minute segs. 1 and 1, and we're done. When I'm by myself, it's much easier to keep this to an hour. When I have a co-host on, I enjoy conversation. I like talking. And especially if I've got someone on who enjoys talking as well, we typically will go longer than an hour, depending on what all we're covering that day. So JP brings up an interesting point. He is not happy with Bryan Danielson, Bryan Danielson, winning the cup. Does anyone agree with him? I'm interested to see what you guys think. Do I believe that they just managed to fit that and they had to fit the narrative of him not wrestling full-time after this year? Yes. Do I believe he was the wrong guy to win? No. I feel like the longer they can keep Adam Page from Swerve, the better, because in my opinion anyway, because it will just, again, we all care so much about long-term storytelling, and people who hate AEW and who are vocal about hating that company are upset when they hot shot book things and don't have more than a week or so worth of story behind a feud or a big match on TV. I totally get that. But sometimes too vocal is too vocal. Like, you know what? Get a life. Find something else to watch. You know what I mean? It's weird. People throw shade at stuff that they don't like. Like, I guess you can. But social media is full of negativity as it is. Don't get me started. But, I understand that to a certain point in time. However, if it's me, see, how do I go about this? So Danielson has said that he doesn't want to wrestle full-time after this year. He never said that he's not going to wrestle again. He just said full-time. Okay. So there's something we need to remember. Would it have been better if it were Ospreay and Swerve at All In August? I kind of think it would be. I'm okay that it's not. But at the same time, is that the match I would have booked? Yeah, probably so. But that's me talking. You know what I mean? But then again, maybe I wouldn't have booked that match recently either. That's just me. Maria is here. Hello, Maria. How are you? Maria, if we're not friends on the Facebook, send me a friend request. And Maria doesn't have her picture up. Maria is incognito. She don't want nobody to know what she looks like. Maybe it's none of your business. Robbie says, yes, I remember the pay-per-view because I ordered it in my 20s. That's the most shocking wrestling moment I witnessed. His name being associated with the tournament is a fitting tribute, 100%. Bryan Danielson more than deserved the cup. Yes. No sense in Mariah May heel turn if she wasn't going to win the title. Who says she won't win the title? Who says she won't win the title? So let's talk about it. Tony Storm. Who here is of the opinion that Tony should have turned on Mariah May? Would that have made more sense to you? Because I'm of the opinion that that her turning on Mariah is sort of the usual way of storytelling. And I don't know this for a fact, but it almost feels like at some point during the course of this, or maybe at the very beginning, it was decided between these ladies, hey, you're turning on me versus me turning on you because that's what people expect. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's 100% it. I don't know. But I've read criticism and heard things that, and by the way, that spot on the ramp, Tony's already powdering her face white to go along with that gimmick. That blood was top notch. That was some top notch color, brother. I'm telling you. And by the way, anyone's got a problem with women juicing on live TV, you don't have a problem with men doing it, unless you do. If you do, I get it. But if you don't, leave them alone. Because man, that was shocking, but it was captivating at the same time. And that shoe going upside her head, holy Lord. You could argue this is long-term storytelling. Now, we don't know her motivation yet because she's not told us. Once she tells us, we'll know more, right? But she even went after again backstage as well. JP said, not saying she won't, but I'm saying it wouldn't make any sense at all. Yeah, I get it. My kid will be in 10th grade, E, for sure, coming up. JP says, I thought Tony Storm was supposed to be the heel. Oh, look, that we have talked this to death. I'm no closer to an answer today than I was 6 months ago. I don't know why they just can't. There's something about that. Me and Phil Lindsay, shout out to Phil Lindsay, had a conversation before the 6M recording this past Tuesday about this notion that AEW just, their opinion on heels versus face is not the opinion of every other company out there. They've got a different way of looking at it. They approach it in a different way. It doesn't line up with my way of approaching it, but then again, it doesn't have to. Do you know what I mean? It's fine that it doesn't. I mean, to each his own. For me, I'm old school, good versus evil, right versus wrong. And I believe that should be the foundation of every pro wrestling promotion, period. And it is there to a certain extent, but in other extents, it is not. Does that make sense? I mean, again, it's evidenced by, heel versus heel, baby versus baby. And it happens all the time. And it's like, when Swerve faced Ospreay, who are we supposed to cheer for? And Swerve made it clear, you're going to cheer for him. Because you ain't cheering for me. I'll make sure you don't cheer for me. But now we're cheering for him again. And, is it a deal breaker? No. In any other situation, I would say it's fine. But, is it going to work long term? 5 years later, are they farther now than they were 5 years ago now? A year ago, 4 years ago? You see what I'm saying? That's up to you. If you want to pull metrics, you can say that they're not better off because their ratings are down. How much of that is because the product is struggling? They're struggling with keeping fans' attention because there's not enough long-term storytelling? Or is it because enough people who were that ticked off at WWE have now turned the channel back? Listen, I don't know what the answer is. Anyone claiming they know is just telling you what they think. It's not proven. It's just analysis. It's speculative analysis. That's what I'm giving you. Okay. I think it's based on the fan itself. I mean, can a fan watch both? Absolutely. A lot of us watch both all the time. It is wrestling tribalistic to the point of AEW fans really hate WWE and vice versa. 100%. Should it be that way? Not at all. But I will tell you, and I can only speak from my experience because I don't know anybody else's experience. It's just mine. All right. But I can tell you from personal experience, most conversations I had, if the person's a WWE lifer, they're more likely to be critical and hypersensitive about AEW and wish that company the worst than an AEW fan would about WWE. You can take that and you can believe it or you cannot believe it. That is completely up to you. That is my experience. Maybe it's not yours. And if it's not yours, that's fine. Maria says, I think Tony turning on May was a better direction. So she's the obsessed diva. She could have gotten jealous and turned on May. JP says that there will be AEW's eventual downfall if they cannot fix. I don't know about eventual downfall. I mean, again, we've said it here on the show more than one time now, I'm sure. A lot of things would have to go wrong for that company to fall down. A lot of things. They've done a lot of things right, and they've got a lot of supporters, and they got a lot of, sponsors, and the network really likes them, and it's, they would have to do. We're talking about a plane crash on top of a plane crash. I'm serious. I believe it would take a heck of a lot for that company to fall. And even then, if and I hope it doesn't, but if that were to happen, you're talking about years from now, in my opinion. I just think I don't know that it's, but I see your point of view. If they keep consistently going down this road, will it chip away and erode away? Right? I mean, maybe it will, but I still don't think it's going to all happen right now. Douglas, this is not what we're on right now, but I'll answer your question. Roman Reigns bloodline babyface versus bloodline heel. It's going to be huge. They're going to make a ton of money off of it. It's going to pop the heck out of the crowd. The face side of that faction with a returning Roman Reigns. Look, I Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, those guys are awesome. I mean, Hikuleo's coming in. They're calling him Tala Tonga, whatever. I mean, and it's. I love those guys, but are they going to have enough star power for anyone on the planet to believe they could actually beat a returning Roman Reigns paired up with baby faces, especially if one of them's Cody? I don't know. That may be a tall order, but to answer your question, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. JP says I'm an oddball then because I'm a WWE lifer, but I love all. See, there you go. There you go. I wish that we had, and look, again, kids, you can like what you want to like. I don't care. But at the same time, I wish we had more people who felt this way, honestly. Kids, before we go any further, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you have not pressed that like button and have not shared this here little live stream on your page, please do so right now. And, I always talk about boinkstudios.com. Do me a favor and watch this real quick, and we will be right back. Check this out.
Boink Studios is the home of Tom Clark's main event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. Visit the site today for links to every podcast platform, social media, special announcements, and a lot more. Check out the site and bookmark today, boinkstudios.com.
There you go, kids. Boinkstudios.com. I couldn't have said it better myself. Boinkstudios.com. Go check us out. The website is it's locked and loaded, baby. And it's updated every day. All right. So go check it out. And then just so I can save you some time, I'm going to drop it here in the convo. So please go check it out. Wait for it. Boom. There it is. Boinkstudios.com. Bookmark that site and let me know what you like about it. And what is it missing that maybe you'd like to see on there? Please go check it out. Links to all my co-hosts and their respective podcasts are on that website as well. And links to the YouTube, the Boink Studios YouTube, links to podcast platforms are all there. Anything you could hope to find on any podcast here on Boink Studios. And again, I would greatly appreciate your time and attention. You guys are the best. Thank you very much. Sugar Shane says, would a loss for Toni Storm be better for her as a contender chasing the title? Excellent question. The great thing, I'm a roundabout answer your question. The great thing about her character is that she does not need the belt. If she lost that belt to Mariah and never held it again, she'd still be great. Having the belt gives her an extra layer, but she does not need that title. Okay. So having said that, yes, she could drop it to Mariah at All In, and yes, she would be fine. But does she chase it after that? I don't know, man. Like Mercedes and Britt are going to be busy. Who else could go after her? Would Willow go after her? Where's Sky Blue right now? We're going to have to do heel versus heel again. What's that going to look like? It's an interesting question. I think that if Tony loses to her, she's absolutely going to be fine. What I like to see her is in the title hunt, sure. But I believe they have the same issue they had before. All right, let me sum it up because this just hit my head. Do you think more of Mariah now than you did before? When you look at Mariah, be honest. Do you see her on a level playing field with Toni Storm? And maybe you didn't before, but now you do. Because the answer is yes. Okay, then this is a different conversation. If the answer is no, then that's a problem. Because AEW will never be able to do anything for Mariah that'll keep Toni Storm from outshining her. I shouldn't say never, right? But I think it'll be exponentially harder because Toni's character is just so great. It's just so great. You know what I mean? It'd be extremely hard. Not impossible, but extremely hard. That'd be my answer to that. David Down Under is here. What's up, David? Good to see you. Robert says, Tom, you and I grew up watching Territory Wrestling. Yes, absolutely. I liked all wrestling companies and wish nothing but the best for all companies I have liked. Yeah, and I grew up very aware of the WWF and watched. It wasn't my jam. I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't my wrestling. Crockett was my wrestling. But I still watched. I still watched because I was a wrestling fan, even as a kid. And when AWA, when I could find when it was on ESPN, the Showboat, yeah, dude, every time it was on. Every time. Not my favorite wrestling, but I enjoyed watching it. World class, when I could find it, you better believe it. Every time I could find it, I watched it. It's just the tribalism that's happening right now is just so effing nuts, dude. It's just so effing nuts. Rick Thibodeau, what's up, my friend? Thanks for hanging out. I feel that if you ordered Samoa Joe from Wish, you get Solo. All right. Shots fired on a Friday. You know what? I don't hate what you just said. I like Solo, so I'm not going to say I agree with you, but that is a 5-star freaking comment. Rick just won the show. Well done. I like Solo, though. I think he's come a heck of a long way. Can I envision him as world champion? Not today. That's me. Maybe other people can. And if they can, that's fine. But for me, it's not believable. I'm not saying he isn't believable to me. I don't think him as the top guy right now. Now, can he be heated up and get there? Of course he could. If he's got it within him and they give him open road and work him the right way, promote him the right way, sure he could. Is he there right now? In my opinion, no, he's not. No, he's not. Let's see. Jeff, are you calling? Dude, really? Is this name calling? This Casper thing? You're hurting my feelings, JP. Emma says, like the May heel turn on Tony, this will be a good match for All In or Double. Yeah, All In for sure. Yeah, it's going to be big. Ray says, Mariah makes a great heel. Love her in ring, but Timeless is beyond awesome. She's great, man. Maria says, I don't think May should beat Tony at All In. Either way, the hometown talent wins. I think Willow Soever should be her beating Tony. And she may. I don't think she will, but she could. Anything could happen. Ray says, Mercedes looks like she's finally heel. DMD is a boss. She's something. Doug says, John Cena retirement last year for in-ring competition, 17. I disagree on the 17th championship. We are on different pages on that. I said earlier in this here show that John's on the record before saying he has no desire to beat Flair's record. Flair's okay with it, but I think some things should stand. I don't think it should be beaten. That's me talking. Oh, Robbie's a Marvel fan. See that? I got your no prize reference. Very, very good. Very, very good. Let's talk a minute about the AEW's world title picture. We answer this question for me. Who's the AEW world champion at the end of this year? With the knowledge that Bryan Danielson is going to face Swerve at All In Wembley Stadium in August. But you still have Hangman Page floating around. You still have MJF floating around. Will Ospreay's still around. I mean, Mox, look, at any given time, Mox could be heated up again. Who's the AEW world champion at the end of this year? Is it too congested of a world title picture? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd like to hear from you. We're not spending a lot of time on this, but I would like to hear your opinions. Maria says, MJF, what do you guys think? Who's the AEW world champion at the end of calendar year 2024? Ray says, Swerve all day. I can't see Will losing to MJF. That would be terrible. 2 L's in a row. Let's see. So, personally, I would love to see Swerve retain that championship and hold it till the end of the year and not drop it till, Revolution? Isn't Revolution in March or is it in February, January next year? I'd love to see Swerve hang on to it, personally. Alma says, I say, Will Ospreay, hands down, or could be Mark Briscoe. Who can envision Mark Briscoe being AEW World Heavyweight Champion? Serious question. JP says the question is, who's going to interfere at All In? That seems like they're setting something up, doesn't it? Yeah, seems like they're setting something up for sure. By the way, this is just in addition to what we're talking about here. Tomohiro Ishii, supposedly, you're going to see him for the rest of this summer on AEW television. So there you go. It's like the first time, I forget how long that he's not been in the G1 tournament. Not sure why he's not, but it's just the way they booked it. But I found that interesting. And by the way, that crowd pops every time Ishii does something, and they should, because Ishii is awesome. For the rest of 2024, and yes, he is not in the G1 this year. So there you go. I'm looking forward to that. By the way, has anybody been checking out NJPW's Soul? That series of events, the latest things that have been happening in New Japan. It's fun stuff. I've thoroughly enjoyed the matches. Really good stuff, man. I'm anxious for the G1. I can't wait to see it. Cena just said after he announced retirement tour for 2025 that he was asked about 17. He said it's possible. But, there's what you say at a press conference in front of reporters, and there's the truth of what he really wants. I don't, he's answering in character as well. Let's remember that. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Mark says, Hangman, AEW World Champion by the end of the year. David says, Christian. Man, that's a pick from out of nowhere, but I'm here for it. I like picks that aren't necessarily evident. Brienne's here. What's up, Brienne? Brienne, send me a friend request. I tried finding you on the Facebook. Are we friends already? Oh, man, if we are, I'm going to be so embarrassed. If we are, my apologies. I swear I looked you up and I couldn't find you anywhere. But my Facebook has been all kinds of wonky this week as well. I don't know what's going on. I've had to recycle the device and all that stuff that you have to do to get things to work correctly, Maria says, I think it's great for AEW that the world championship landscape is wide open between 5 hot. I can't disagree with that. And again, I threw that question out there to everyone. If you felt that the world title picture is too cluttered, too congested, I think we have to be willing to look at all sides of this. I tend to agree with you more than I think it's too congested, but there again, everybody's got their own takes on this, but it's interesting. It's interesting to hear what everybody thinks. World's End at World's End. There you go, Jeff. December 28th. There you go. Orlando, Florida. I love that name, by the way. World's End. What a great name for an event. Kids, we're coming up on the top of the hour. We are almost there. Here's a few other notes to talk about from AEW. Darby has returned. If you watched Dynamite this past Wednesday, you know that. Ric Flair and CJ Perry, however, are gone. So that's the latest going on in that company. And that's the latest for what we have here for you today for the most part. Anybody got any comments on those three talents? Let me know. Robert says AEW should set up a gauntlet match with Heyman, Swerve, Ospreay, Mox, and MJF, with Swerve winning to prove he can outlast the best. Oh, I think I'd be here for that all day. I don't know to what degree that should or shouldn't happen, but I think I'd be here for that all day. Look, it's not lost on me, kids, that they book matches seemingly for the sake of booking them. I'm well aware of that. Everyone that knows me knows that, I wish WWE nothing but the best. I'm glad they're doing well. I'm happy for the talent and the personnel in that company. And I enjoy watching AEW. I enjoy watching New Japan. I watch TNA when I get a chance, TNA when I get a chance. But, having said all that, I'm going to be honest about things. It does not mean I roast a company until it's barbecue on an open pit. I just don't agree with that. You can do what you want, conduct yourself how you want, act a fool on the microphone if you want to. I don't care. But I don't believe in doing that. It's just not me. You know what I mean? People can get that stuff on other podcasts. They can get some guy, cursing every breath or screaming or whatever people do. And, if that's your speed, go with God, brother. I don't care. But for me, it's just not what I do. I try to keep an open and honest opinion about everything I watch. So having said all that, yeah, I see the things going on with AEW TV that I don't understand, things that I don't get, but I'm not jumping ship. I want that company to succeed. We need AEW to succeed. We need TNA to succeed. We need GCW to get a television deal and succeed. We need the NWA to make more fans tomorrow than it has today and keep pushing. I'm telling you, if you care anything about the pro wrestling business at all, you shouldn't just want WWE to win, because that's not pro wrestling moving forward. That's one company winning and all others coming in a distant second. I don't want that. I don't think anybody's going to overtake them. I'm not suggesting that. But I just don't believe in this ideology of I live and die with one company. If that's what makes you happy, do it. I don't care. It just frustrates it's frustrating. That's what I'll say. Was Flair and CJ Perry? Well, Flair was attached because of the Woo energy drink, and CJ Perry was there. Maybe she did that manager gimmick thing, and it lasted like 10 minutes or something, and then she was no longer doing it. It's interesting. She had nothing negative to say on her way out the door, as well as she shouldn't. I don't think anything negative was, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Didn't happen. I don't know. But it didn't seem like things were negative with her. It just, she just moved on. Just moved on. That's all. Maria says, I feel CJ Perry was released because of her ex works there. Maybe. They could have found something for her as a valet. Well, they did. They tried, but it didn't work. She's a hard sell. And this is no disrespect to CJ Perry at all. But in my opinion, she's a hard sell because she doesn't do anything. And here's what I'll ask you. Is she believable when she cuts promos for a guy that she's managing? That's all I'm asking. You can answer that as you see fit. While you're thinking about it, the floor is open, kids. We got 9 minutes and we're going to call it a day and get on with our weekend. Well, I got to thank everybody for watching here today. Thanks for downloading the audio version of this show. I very much appreciate it. Thanks for visiting and bookmarking boinkstudios.com. And thanks so much for being fans of this here show and for telling everybody you know about it, because it's awesome. And I do very much appreciate your time and attention. We do what we do here on the show, and that's all we can do. So I appreciate any good word you kids have for me at any given time. It means loads to me. Life hasn't been the easiest over the past couple of months, but you know what? We keep pushing because that's what we do. That's what we do. I'd podcast every day if I could. I love this stuff. I love it. Ray, have you lost? Have you been lost? Have you disappeared? JP says, it might also depend on who survives the blood and guts, who might fight for the AEW championship. Well said. Maria says the wrestling fans were not this bad during the Monday Night Wars. Why now? Well, they were bad then, but it was a different level of it. Great comment. It was a different level because, again, speaking from my perspective, I can't speak for anybody else. But back then, it was more like, I can't wait to see what the other company's going to do. Whether it was WCW or WWE, we were all turning the TVs back and forth. I'm telling you, almost every Monday, I'd hang out with a bunch of friends of mine. And at any given time, there was like 10 of us in the room. And we were flipping the TV back and forth. At one point, we put 2 TVs in and we're, right. I can't remember how we did that. I don't even remember how we did that, but we were doing it. Did we? Yeah, I think we did. I don't remember. You'd think it's like watching a ping pong match, but it's the truth. Yeah, I don't recall at that time people being like, I hope this company fails. Maybe they were. I don't remember it at all. Who should Cena wrestle for his last match? In a perfect world, Kurt Angle is my answer. But I don't think that's going to happen. Rail Day says Digital Underground or Heavy D. I'll go Digital Underground. And part 2, Lost Boys or House of Pain. I'll go I guess I'll go House of Pain. And if Adam Cole invited you and your family to his private pool for a nice, enjoyable swim and ice cold refreshments like homemade iced tea and lemonade, and he said you could bring a friend, could I join? Yes. Later wanted to go to dinner to get brisket with French fries and water plus dessert, a slice of apple pie, could I join as well? As long as the apple pie has a fresh scoop of French vanilla bean. The answer is yes. He says, if you received a phone call from Sting and he asked you which viewer would you invite to dinner, who would you pick, and why is it me? You give me so much crap on this show. What makes you think it would be you? Are you going to play nice if I say you? Because Ray's not going to be happy with me if I say you. Y'all can find it out. Duke it out amongst yourselves. JP says competition is what's best for business. Could not agree more. Couldn't agree more. Sandy, thank you for bringing up the Wyatt Six thing. Remember we said when this angle first started that the proof in the pudding was going to be how they were going to book it after the fact. I'm very anxious to see where they go with this Bo Dallas stuff. I'm very anxious to see. I like everything so far. I'm very anxious to see what happens with Bo Dallas now. I actually can't wait to see it. And again, if we're doing long-term storytelling, as that company really loves to do now, you know what? Let's see what they can do with this guy. Do right by him. Okay? Because I think this is a give and take situation, in my humble opinion. Do right by him. I'm just saying. Brienne, let me, I tell you what I do. Watch this stuff. For anyone, and I think most of us are friends here on the Facebook. Watch this. Wait, bam, there we go. For anyone that we're not Facebook friends, send me a friend invite, a friend, send me a friend request. That's it. We will be friends. JP, why would you think I wouldn't take you, brother? It's okay to disagree, man. I just don't call me names, JP. I put you over like crazy on my show today. Did you miss that? I called you the third co-host last week. What's up with that? See, Chris knows he was there. CRP, everybody. CRP is going to do a new podcast, and I may appear here and there if he'd like me to. That's going to be fun. Let's see here. The boy is going to be dropped off here at the office in a few minutes, and then we got to go run an errand in about an hour or so. So, yeah. He's doing well, by the way. He's doing well. E, I'm not putting your comment up. I know it's open floor, but E, you know where I lean politically. And I could have fun with your question, but I'm not going to. So, I could. It's open floor, right? And nothing's out of bounds, right? Supposedly. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate you. Ray, if you want to come on, let's book it. Are you serious? Let's book it then. The patent report. Shut up. Oh, you're already putting it out? The patent report. Oh my God, it sounds so MSNBC, doesn't it? Coming up next on the Patton Report. Right, have that little thing. Oh, you could have fun with that. That'd be fun. The Patton Report. Awesome. You got to share with me off mic what you're doing. Kids, 3 minutes to the top of the hour, and we're calling it a day. Thanks for hitting that like button, man. You guys are awesome, aren't you? And again, if we're not friends on the Facebook, you see my profile right there. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. JP says, an awesome name, the Patton Report. Oh, yeah, for sure. E says, you know where I lean. Yep. Yeah, pretty sure I do. Because you and I agree, right? Don't say it here. You'll get everybody upset with each other. Who do you think so far has been doing well this year in any company? I think Ospreay's having a great year, especially from a working perspective. I think he's having a great year. I really, truly do. Tony Storm? Yeah, for sure. Cody? I can argue with Cody having a great year. He's having a great year. Thoughts on Raw going to Netflix next year? I hope that Netflix deal makes everybody on that roster richer or rich or wealthier or at least more money. And everybody gets paid what they should be paid. In other words, the talent should see a cut of this. And I hope everybody gets the money they deserve. That's my answer to that. Kay says, enjoying the TNA WWE interpromotional stuff. A lot of people dig it, man. A lot of people dig it. Well, kids, that's going to do it for us here today. We're going to take this thing home. I appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Remember, boinkstudios.com, B-O-I-N-K, boinkstudios.com. You'll find show links to the main event, Tom Clark 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. That show is returning with season 3 in probably about 2 or 3 weeks. I'll make the announcement officially, and I'm telling you, if you want a fun show that reviews Ted Lasso, that's the one for you. We put a lot of hard work into it, and we have a lot of fun doing it. I think you'll dig it. I really, truly do. I wouldn't tell you that. I don't put out anything I'm not proud of. I promise you. When you see a podcast from Boink Studios, it's got my full approval and a lot of hard work behind it, and I don't publish anything I'm not proud of. I promise you that, okay? I do the best I can to put out really good content. That's my promise to you. And I'm always open to new ideas and people who would like to record. If you think you got the chops to record, let's talk about it. Come on the show sometime. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Thanks again, kids. I appreciate you very much. Everybody, do me a favor. Have a great weekend. All right. Watch you some pro wrestling this weekend. Watch a rerun. Go to local independent shows. Check it out live. Do what you got to do. Make it happen. Thanks, kids, very much. We'll see you next Friday, folks. Have a great week.